This is the first video of Familia Romana, Capitulum Primum, first chapter, Imperium Romanum, the Roman Empire. Here is an island, an insula. By the shore we can see an oppidum, a town. Going into the river, going into the sea is a river, Fluvius. Roma in Italia est. Rome is in Italy. We have in Italia in the middle. So the Latin word order is looser than English. Roma in Italia est. Italia in Europa est. Italy is in Europe. In Italia, so we have a longer vowel when Italia goes with in. Italia is normal form. In Italia is a different form. We have a long A at the end. Italia is the subject, it has a short A. Italy is in Europe. Europa has a long A, goes with in. Italia in Europa est. Graecia in Europa est. Greece is in Europe. Graecia in Europa est. Italia et Graecia in Europa sunt. Here we have a plural. We have two things in the subject, Italia et Graecia. Instead of est, we have sunt. Italia et Graecia in Europa sunt. Hispania quoque in Europa est. Quoque also. Spain is also in Europe. Hispania quoque in Europa est. Hispania et Italia et Graecia in Europa sunt. Spain, Italy, and Greece are in Europe. Aegyptus in Europa non est. Aegyptus in Africa est. Egypt is not in Europe, non est is not. Egypt is in Africa. Aegyptus in Europa non est. Aegyptus in Africa est. Gallia non in Africa est. Gallia est in Europa. Gaul is not in Africa. Non est. It's not. Gallia, Gaul, is in Europe. Gallia non in Africa est. Gallia est in Europa. Syria non est in Europa, sed in Asia. Syria is not in Europe, but in Asia. Syria non est in Europa, sed in Asia. Arabia quoque in Asia est. Arabia also is in Europe. Arabia quoque in Asia est. Syria et Arabia in Asia sunt. Syria and Arabia are in Asia. So we have a plural, two things in the subject, Syria and Arabia. So we have sunt, not est. Syria et Arabia in Asia sunt. Germania non in Asia, sed in Europa est. Germany is not in Asia, but in Europe. Germania non in Asia, sed in Europa est. Britannia quoque in Europa est. Britain is also in Europe. Britannia quoque in Europa est. Germania et Britannia sunt in Europa. Germany and Britain are in Europe. Germania et Britannia sunt in Europa. Est ne Gallia in Europa? We have ne, a question word. It goes with the question mark. It tells us we have a question. Est ne, is it? Is Gaul in Europe? Est ne Gallia in Europa? Gallia in Europa est. Gaul is in Europe. Gallia in Europa est. Est ne Roma in Gallia? Is Rome in Gaul? Est ne Roma in Gallia? Roma in Gallia non est. Rome is not in Gaul. Roma in Gallia non est. Ubi est Roma? Ubi, a question word, meaning where. Where is Rome? Ubi est Roma? Roma est in Italia. Rome is in Italy. Roma est in Italia. Ubi est Italia? Where is Italy? Ubi est Italia? Italia in Europa est. Italy is in Europe. Italia in Europa est. Notice how sometimes est goes at the end and sometimes in the middle. The Latin is quite flexible in the word order. I can't see where it's in the middle. Just here we are. Surya non est in Europa. Gallia in Europa est. So it could be in the middle, could be in the end. Latin is flexible with the word order. I think, if I understand correctly, the first and last word often receive emphasis in the sentence, but I don't think we have to worry too much about that. Italia in Europa est. Ubi sunt Gallia et Hispania? Where are Gaul and Spain? Ubi sunt Gallia et Hispania? Gallia et Hispania in Europa sunt. Gaul and Spain are in Europe. Gallia et Hispania in Europa sunt. Before we start the last paragraph of this page, we'll look at the notes. So there are two forms for Italia. There's Italia and Italia with a long A. Italia goes with in. It's technically called a preposition. We won't worry about what that means exactly. But when we put it after in, it receives a long vowel. In Italia instead of Italia. Est, sunt. So est goes with a singular subject, just one subject. Italia in Europa est. And sunt goes with a plural subject when there is more than one thing in the subject. Italia et Graecia in Europa sunt. And this tells us that ne is used as a question word. It's like a question mark, if you like. Est ne. Let's go to the last paragraph. Est ne Nilus in Europa? Is the Nile in Europe? Est ne Nilus in Europa? Nilus in Europa non est. The Nile is not in Europe. Nilus in Europa non est. Ubi est Nilus? Where is the Nile? Ubi est Nilus? Nilus in Africa est. The Nile is in Africa. Rhenus ubi est. Where is the Rhine? The river in Germany, of course. Rhenus ubi est. Rhenus est in Germania. The Rhine is in Germany. Rhenus est in Germania. Nilus fluvius est. The Nile is a river. Nilus fluvius est. Here is our fluvius. So the Nilus is a fluvius, a river. Rhenus fluvius est. The Rhine is a river. Rhenus fluvius est. Nilus et Rhenus fluvii sunt. The Nile and the Rhine are rivers. Flui. So not a river, rivers. Fluvius changes to flui when it's plural, when it represents more than one thing, more than one river. Nilus et Rhenus flui sunt. Danuvius quoque fluvius est. The Danube, I think, does that pass through Hungary? Or maybe it's, I think that it goes past Germany. I don't know my European geography. The Danube also is a river. Danuvius quoque fluvius est. Excuse me for my ignorance of geography. Rhenus et Danuvius sunt flui in Germania. So we have a plural, Rhenus et Danuvius, that's two things. They're flui, not one river, they're flui, rivers. The Rhine and Danube are rivers in Germany. Well, that answers my question where the Danuvius is found. Rhenus et Danuvius sunt flui in Germania. Tiberis fluvius in Italia est. Tiber, the small river that goes past Rome, or I believe it's small, I haven't been to Rome. Tiberis fluvius in Italia est. Nilus fluvius magnus est. So what type of river is it? It's a big river, a magnus river. Nilus fluvius magnus est. Tiberis non est fluvius magnus, Tiberis fluvius parvus est. As I said, Tiberis is, or the Tiber, is a small river. The Tiber isn't a big river, it's a small river. Tiberis non est fluvius magnus, Tiberis fluvius parvus est. Rhenus, I've gone on to the next section, so we'll finish this video at Tiberis fluvius in Italia est. I'll read through the text once more in Latin. Now you know what the English is. I'll just quickly take you through it. Rome is in Italy. Italy is in Europe. Greece is in Europe. Italia and Greece are in Europe. Spain is also in Europe. Spain, Italy, and Greece are in Europe. Egypt isn't in Europe, it's in Africa. Gaul isn't in Africa, it's in Europe. Syria isn't in Europe, but in Asia. Arabia is also in Asia. Syria and Arabia are in Asia. Germany isn't in Asia, but in Europe. Britain is also in Europe. Germany and Britain are in Europe. Is Gaul in Europe? Gaul is in Europe. Is Rome in Gaul? Rome isn't in Gaul. Where is Rome? It should be Rome, not Roma. Rome is in Italy. Where is Italy? Italy is in Europe. Where are Gaul and Spain? Gaul and Spain are in Europe. Is the Nile in Europe? The Nile isn't in Europe. Where is the Nile? The Nile is in Africa. Where is the Rhine? The Rhine is in Germany. The Nile is a river. The Rhine is a river. The Nile and the Rhine are rivers. The Danube is also a river. The Rhine and the Danube are rivers in Germany. Tiber is a river in Italy. So before, I don't have time to go through this section all in Latin without the translation. I'll publish another video where I do that. We'll just look at this last note. So fluvius is for singular for a river, just one. Flui is for rivers, for more than one, the plural. Singular, fluvius, plural, flui. Okay, that will do for the video, and I'll publish another one shortly afterwards where I just read all of the Latin.